Mike, I remember my first job. It was at Eagle River Animal Hospital in Eagle River, Alaska. And I specifically chose that job because there was a very senior member and owner of the hospital. There were a couple veterinarians who'd had probably close to a decade of experience, and then 3 or 4 younger veterinarians out a year or two, like myself. Within the first month of starting that job, VCA bought the hospital, became a corporate practice, and the owner took early retirement and left. And the two most seasoned people went on to do residencies or do other things, start their own practices. And I ended up working the first 4 to 5 years of my first job with a bunch of new graduates. So it was, if you can imagine, all of my thoughts of mentorship went out the window. And truly, my mentors were veterinarians down the street who were willing to help and step in and talk to me about cases. The Antec consulting line, who I knew all on a first name basis. And Vin, looking back, a very different experience than I think an internship would have been.
Welcome to the Vets Unleashed,
where we gather animal professionals and animal enthusiasts to discuss the most pressing, silly, and interesting topics in the animal kingdom. I'm Dr. Scott.
And I'm Dr. Mike. And today we are talking about internships, veterinary internships, and we've got a returning guest, sort of returning, because Dr. Razo, when you were with us before, you were not Dr. Razo, were you?
No, I was baby Dr. Razo to be.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys again.
Yeah, you look like $1 million.
Is that a compliment anymore? I don't know. $1 million really isn't that much.
No, you could buy half of a house here.
Yeah, you look like half of a home in Tustin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I feel like $500,000 right now, almost to 1,000, almost to $1 million.
Almost.
Hey, well, then you look twice as good as you feel.
That's right.
Good for you.
That's what's important.
Well, and I'm curious to know then, you're still in your internship, correct? So you graduated.
Correct. Yes.
Graduated last year, around this time probably. And then started your internship in July?
June 20th or June 12th, sorry.
But who's counting?
And is that when you'll be done? June 12th?
July 4th.
But who's counting?
Is that your Independence Day, by the way?
Yeah, that's the day after my birthday, actually.
Oh.
So I'll be working on my birthday again.
And then,
but it's okay. It's almost done.
Well, I'd love to go back and revisit, like when you were graduating last year and when you were considering putting yourself in the match and doing an internship. What kind of things were you looking for, and why? For some of our listeners who may be finishing veterinary school, for Stephanie, who's in her 4th year now, what sort of things steered you towards an internship versus practice?
Well, I think a big part of it was talking to, a few of the doctors that I have known for a while. And a lot of the doctors during my clinical year at school were encouraging students to do it. Some that did not do an internship were like, no, you don't need it. You're going to regret it. So it was kind of like 2 different groups telling me different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that year I felt like I had learned a lot, but I also felt once I graduated, I was not ready to just be thrown out and, do everything on my own and think, there are places that were like, there's mentorships and we can mentor you. But then they warn us in school that there are a lot of places that promise mentorships and actually, aren't following through with that promise. So the best promise that I can get would be through an internship to continue to build on everything that I learned, because everything that I learned was really just the foundation, in my opinion. So I think that's what geared me towards doing it. And I thought it would be. I mean, I knew it would be hard, but it's been very hard. But yeah.
And so the difference, I guess, between an internship and just going into private practice is that it's more structured. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I would say so. It also depends what internship you get. There are internships that are newer. There are internships that are more like private practice type. There's like corporate. And so the ones that I was looking at were corporate, and they have been pretty structured, and that's what they're supposed to be like. You're supposed to do, if it's a rotating, they have multi-specialty within that hospital, and they um, come up with a schedule where you're like rotating through each department for a specific amount of time. And then they throw in like lectures and, grand rounds. And so you're continuing to learn. And it becomes a very kind of welcoming space to really ask as much as you want to and not feel like like you're bugging any doctor or taking their time away, because these places, the doctors that work there know that they've been working with interns for such a long time, so they know how to approach this like new like incoming group.
So yours is a rotating internship, and for a lot of people that are listening are veterinarians and they understand what that is, but for those who don't, that means that you do emergency medicine, but you also do what else is there? You have surgery at the place where you're at, internal medicine. Did you do oncology as well?
No, we do have oncology, but it's kind of a separate department. So if you do want to do that, we have 2 blocks of elective time, and you can choose to do onco. But we have, the ER department, ICU. We have internal medicine, cardiology, radiology, oncology, surgery. And then we have our sister hospital down the street, which has like even more of the specialties. So we are able to kind of go over there during elective time and, fill the gaps. Like neuro is a big one that I think is really important.
Do you tend to then, well, first of all, how many other interns are in your program with you?
So
you both laughed when I asked that. So
I know
I'm assuming you
this.
either have less than you started with. Is that what the laugh's about? No.
Well, kind of. So when I started, when so when I matched, it was supposed to be 8 of us. And we were told a couple were starting late because they were like the off season, how like Ross University, it's
they're staggered a little bit. St. George, I think, is too. Yeah.
And then we have some U of A interns that they graduated like later than us, so they were going to start later. And then there are, some that had to retake NAVLE, so they weren't able to start with us.
National boards.
Yeah, sorry, the national boards. Yeah. It's that one exam that has like all
We're
the
so
things
old.
that
we didn't even have the NAVLE. When Mike and I went through, there was the CCT, the clinical competency test, and the NBE, the national board exam. And they combined them in the NAVLE years later. Yeah.
And we took it on stone.
So you were going to start with 8.
Yeah, so we were going to start with 8. So we started with 4 because the other ones weren't starting yet. And then there were some that didn't pass NAVLE. So it was 4 of us. I started on overnights, which was just like, it was just a lot. And typically with like a normal amount of interns, you have like a swing intern, and you like on emergency, you have a swing intern, and then you have your shift. So you're like, you have a lot of help because the interns take a lot of the cases.
Yeah.
And then we lost one intern who decided to do something different. And so she left. And so we were left with 3. And so it was a lot. But then...
And I assume they had the workload for 8.
It really much felt like that.
Yeah.
It was not supposed to be like that, but it really felt like it was, to be honest. And then we had 2 that joined us later as promised. But then the other interns never started because of NAVLE reasons. And so we ended up at this moment, we have, I can't even remember. It's been so back and forth, but I believe we have 6 right now.
That must feel like a vacation.
It's really nice. I'm a lot happier now, for sure.
We're already a few minutes into this, and I've got so many questions about like how it's been going for you, and if you think it's been worth it or not. But I want to take a break for a second and introduce the drink, which is in your honor.
Ever since we did the AI episode, Mike has been having artificial intelligence create all his drinks.
All of the drinks.
Just dialing it in.
I'm like,
ChatGPT?
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
This is all, every single thing is on here. This is the Caretaker's Quencher, right? And so the ingredients are 1.5 ounces of gin, 1/2 ounce of elderflower liqueur, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, 1/4 ounce of simple syrup, adjust to taste, 2 to 3 cucumber slices, and a splash of club soda. And you muddle everything together, then shake everything together, strain it, and then put a splash on top of it. And it is right
Serve
here.
over ice or serve in
serve
a
over
cocktail
ice.
glass?
So into a.
All right.
So
cheers.
Have you
I'm on a
tasted it?
diet, guys, so
Okay,
no
that's
alcohol for me today. But I'm curious to know what you think. Cheers
right,
to
okay.
Dr. Razo.
It's bomb.com.
It's good, isn't it? It's very refreshing
really
and
good.
light. Yeah, that could go down really
It's
fast.
so good.
Mm-hmm. That would be
It looks
It's
dangerous.
really good.
Did you say there's simple syrup in it as well?
Yeah, a little bit of simple syrup.
Okay.
But muddled cucumber. And I used Hendrick's gin because cucumber. I thought that would be appropriate. And it's really good.
Go ChatGPT.
Yeah. So quick question. Going into it, you kind of had this idea of a structured learning experience where you're going to get hands-on and it's going to help you grow into that confident doctor. And you're most of the way through now. Overall, would you say it's met your expectations as far as the guidance has been concerned? The help that you needed when you needed it?
I would say so, yes. This specific internship, and like I said, every internship is different. So I really, if anybody's considering doing one, like really do your research and reach out to, current interns, because what you see on the match is usually never 100% accurate. So you have to really think about what you're looking for. And with me, it was a big thing was guidance and being able to ask a million questions, because that's what I always do. I second guess myself and I triple check myself. So I constantly ask a lot of questions. But I would say, yes, the internship did meet my expectations in terms of just having doctors that are so used to working with interns and always checking in, especially when we have like really weird cases where I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with this dog. Like there's a lot of cases that I get like that. Or they're not doing the things that the owner said they're doing at home. And so it's never been a problem where I have to just say, excuse me, like, hi, I need help. And, everyone is just ready to help and they're really great.
Well, and where you work too at a specialty hospital, you're getting sometimes cases that veterinarians like Scott and myself have gone like, well, I don't know, send it over to you guys. So people who have
we need more diagnostics.
We're sending it over and then you get it dumped in your lap, after we've done all the stuff that like the easy stuff.
So I'm curious to know for younger folks who are interested in internships, can you go, are a lot of the programs open to having you, like, say before you, because it goes into the match, correct? For internship selection. Are a lot of them open to having you come and visit first? Like I did that with AMC. I spent 2 weeks at AMC in New York City to decide, is this someplace I'd like to do an internship? Like your program, do you have like future applicants coming in to see what your life is like and kind of hang out? And even if you don't see that, like, is that something people can do, or is that not an option for most internships?
Yeah, so a lot of internships actually encourage students, like fourth years, to come and visit. A lot of the interviews are virtual because there's people like all over the country. So a lot of them will encourage you to come visit the hospital, meet in person. They want to meet you in person. You don't have to. It's not going to hurt your chances, but I do encourage that to just kind of see, is this somewhere where you'd see yourself? And how do people greet you? And then you're able to like sit down with different people and like kind of interview them and like see how they like it. And if you're not able to do that because of the time frame of like when it falls match, that is, you can do a rotation at that hospital. So a lot of them accept students as externs. So I think that's a really good idea also to pick a specialty and then decide to do a rotation there during your clinical year, which is what I did with my internship. I did an externship in cardiology, and I felt like I learned a ton, and everyone was really nice, and and I really enjoyed it. So,
when I imagine for some people who are interested in going into a specific specialty, like it sounds like you were open to a lot of things and had a lot of interest, but for someone that say wanted to be a cardiologist, your internship would be a great program. But I would also imagine there are times where, people match and they're ready to start their internship and learn cardiology, and then that cardiologist decides to go back to university and teach or move to a different hospital. And then suddenly you're in an internship without the specialty you really hoped for. So is there any way, does that happen a lot?
That can happen, definitely, because life happens. And but it's not like the specialty closes or anything. They always find a way to keep it going.
Well, Scott, let's take a quick little break and refresh our drinks. And when we come back, I definitely want to hear more about because I know you did some work with us, and I want to hear your thoughts, how internships compare to just going out into practice and what you think about that. All right, be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Mike, the Bowtie Vet Guy. Thanks for tuning in to The Vets Unleashed. If you want to find out more about us or our guests, or to leave an amazing review, head on over to thevetsunleashed.com or find us on Instagram or Facebook at The Vets Unleashed. There you'll find information on the podcast, how to be a guest, and our lecture series and speaking availability. Now let's get back to the show. All right, we are back. We're talking with Dr. Razo, who is doing a rotating internship in Los Angeles here near me. Every once in a while, I call her up. Hey, I need help. And we're talking to her about veterinary internships, the good, the bad, the exhausted, all those things. So before we left, I was kind of wondering, I know you came and did a couple of weeks, with us at our general practice. Few days with me, few days with another new graduate who's maybe a year ahead of you. And so I'm curious as to what your experience was comparing your internship to general practice, good and bad, and also did the new grad have anything to say to you that she wouldn't say to us?
No, I think the new grad said really good things about it. She really felt like she had a lot of mentorship there. I'm serious, like she loves it. I think to start off in terms of like mentorship, I felt like it was pretty good with you guys. You guys were always there to answer questions, and specifically you, like you've always been a teacher to me. So I feel like you guided me in the very beginning, and then I think you realized you're like, okay, I think she got it. So but you guys were always there to like answer any questions. And of course, it depends on the private practice you go to. If you go to a place where it's like one or two doctors, it's like you're going to be on your own.
It's hard.
So I think the mentorship was great. I think the cases were kind of similar to what I see on ER when they're not super urgent cases, like more like urgent care type, because I did a lot of the walk-in appointments, not necessarily was put on an appointment schedule. So I can't really speak on, how it goes as a primary care doctor and how it feels to be like on a tight schedule. But in terms of the things that are walking in, and a lot of private practices that are GP will have like a walk-in basis. So I feel like those cases were pretty easy to really know what to do. And I think it's because of the training I've had. Like I kind of knew what diagnostics to do and But I think the biggest difference with the diagnostic was like not having the tools, obviously that a multi-specialty hospital has. You guys have ultrasound, and I'm able to like do like my AFAST, TFAST, which is like just scanning, not an official ultrasound, but just scanning the chest, scanning the belly. So I was able to use that there. But I think obviously like we can't get like same day ultrasound, same day like echocardiograms. So it's not like you can have answers right away. So at that point, that's when you refer, if you can't do the things
And
in
you
a
need
more like
those results right away.
for specific cases. Yeah. If it's like a new murmur I found, then I can just like recommend to see cardiology and get an echo in the future. But if it's like a heart failure case,
Sure.
echo should be done, but there are other things you can do. But I think that's where I was a little bit limited. And again, great doctors there, but they're, it's different when you have specialists that you can, bounce ideas off of. And, like where I am right now, if I had a, really like if I had a case where it was having like all these crazy arrhythmias that I still have, I'm still learning to really see what they mean. I can literally just walk over to cardio and I can say, hey,
Me too.
Are you able to like lend an intern? And then they come and, they can just like guide you. And then also I would say every practice is different, but the, medications and injections but there are also a lot of things at a private practice that are not going to be found at like an emergency hospital. Like if you ask an emergency veterinarian, like, what is a deworming schedule? Like, they're going to be like, I don't know. So, and that's a big thing that we notice. There are a lot of kind of primary care type of cases we get on ER where I'm like, oh my God, like I have not seen this in so long. Like,
I'm actually doing an evening CE program on dermatology for urgent care and ER doctors. And it's a pretty big turnout because most of them say, like, I don't know, I always use this one product. And I tell them if they're not better, go see your regular doctor. And so they're like, my knowledge of, basic dermatology, ear infections, atopic dermatitis is very low because I'm an ER doctor. I want a quick fix, get them in and out the door. I'm curious to know. So do you feel as though, if you look at your quality of life over the past year, and I would guess most interns are going to say, I haven't had a great quality of life. I did an internship, right? But how would you say, I mean, obviously you're probably taking less money. You're working more than someone who would go into a general practice right out of school. So looking back on this last year, I guess the question is twofold. One, do you think your quality of life and your work-life balance, so to speak, has suffered from doing the internship in the short term? And then, how does that compare to your friends and people who went into general practice?
100%. It has been affected. In all ways, shape, or form. So when I'm on a specialty, it's like pretty chill. Like I have a really good schedule. When I'm on ER, which is probably 50 to 60% of the internship, I'm working like 60 to 80 hours a week. So it's a lot. We work 5 days in a row, and then we have 2 days off. And the first day off, I'm just sleeping. Like I sleep all day long.
And these are 8-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts?
No. So they're supposed to be 12, but you don't clock out.
Right.
You don't clock out.
Yep.
You just, if a case comes in an hour before your shift, we have to take it.
Yeah.
And some of these cases can be like big workups and hospitalizing.
Yeah.
And I think my longest shift was like 18 hours one day. And then I had to come back and do it again the next day, 5 days in a row. So that first day off is just sleeping. So I don't really even get to really, hang out with friends. And, if I do have the time, the schedules don't align. And so most of the time I'm just like catching up, like cleaning my place because it's been a mess all week. Trying to cook, which I haven't done in a long time. Just, trying to live for 2 days and then getting mentally ready to like do it again. And then over and over and over and over.
And you're almost to the end, right? So how much more of your remaining time is going to be on specialty versus on ER?
So the last of our internship, our schedule is not ready yet. So we're still kind of a little bit in limbo, but I think the way it's been structured moving forward, we're told that we're going to have specialty with ER kind of mixed in. So I think I still have 2 weeks of cardiology left, and then I have a week of swing ER. Then I have surgery for 3 weeks, and then I think they're going to kind of do ER mixed with like internal medicine and just kind of give us a little bit of everything at the very end.
Is there overlap between you and the new interns coming in at all?
So they start June 12th and we end July 4th, just like we did. So there are, I think they get like 2 weeks of orientation, and then they have like a week or two of working with us. So we'll be able to like train them and guide them.
And just look and be like,
hey kid, I remember when I was you last year.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the father time thing where it's the baby and the old man. Is it, next question, I guess then, are any of the interns planning to stay? Have you received a job offer? Or are you interested in that? Or if not, what's next?
Yeah. So a couple of our like intern mates, they're actually staying to do an internal medicine internship. One of them is interested in oncology. So that's her next, after that, she's going into oncology. And then the other one is going into radiology. And then the other ones are going kind of everywhere else. And then what was your other question? Sorry.
And what's
She's
the
so
future
tired.
look like
It's the
for
drink.
you? Are you
It's the drink.
going to take some time off first of all? And then what's next
yes.
for Dr. Razo?
Yeah. I'm definitely taking some time off. I'm going to take a month off.
Nice.
Right when it's over. I'm going to probably try to travel. I haven't traveled since 2016, so I'm going to try to do something. And then I had a few job offers, and it was really hard to choose because, they want you because you've done an internship. And so a lot of people have been reaching out, and but I did accept a position, which I will be starting in early August. It's a general practice in Encino, and I really like this place because the owner of the hospital is an internist, and I really, really like internal medicine. I considered a residency in that, but decided I just can't do it anymore. Like I really want a better work-life balance, and I just want to be happy again. So
it's so fun I've only once in my career worked at a general practice with an internist, but it's so fun to have that person because they really do elevate the level of care for those, I mean, just the ultrasounds. You'll have your same day ultrasounds then.
Yes, and that's one of the things, like the diagnostic tool. Like if I was to choose my favorite, is an ultrasound. Like I love ultrasounds, and it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yep.
It's the best. And so
I love me some blood work. I'm still putting my money down on blood work.
I think the best tool that we've got is right here.
Yeah.
Dr. Mike.
Right
Dr.
here.
Mike is the best tool we got.
Yeah.
Hey, did you just call me a tool?
Yeah, you're a big tool. A big veterinary tool. That's totally how I describe you. So you've not starting till August, but you said you're going to take a month off. So if I do my numbers, July 3rd to August. Oh, I guess that's a month off, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I start August 5th. I think that's, it's exactly a month off. Because my last day is July 4th, and July 5th is my first day off. And
gotcha.
Like I said, travel and, try to start eating better and start going to the gym more often. And I'm, also moving because my lease is ending. So I have to deal with that. Moving before my internship is over. So I have to figure that out.
In those 6 hours after your 18-hour shift before you
I have to start
sleep
packing.
and pack and move too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know somebody with a pickup?
I think Dr. Mike and his girlfriend would be willing to jump in their car and help you pack up and move.
For
Aw,
sure.
he'd
I
do
would
that.
love
Absolutely.
that.
If I was closer, I totally would help.
He would. He would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw. You're here in spirit.
That's
I'm
right.
here in spirit.
Well, I guess anything final that you would say to somebody who's thinking about doing an internship?
Internship GP. Now you've done it for a year. What would you tell that person?
I would say, well, first, if they're not exactly sure, if they 100% want to do GP, do they want to explore other options? I think doing an internship, and if they consider picking up relief shifts in the future with an ER, which by the way pays a lot of good money. I think doing an internship is a really good idea because you can kind of have another year to decide, and you're not rushed to making signing a contract and being locked in for X amount of time. And then once you've done an internship that has an ER setting, you can pick up ER shifts whenever you want. And I think if you don't have that experience, you're not able to, is what I've heard, is you're not able to pick up ER shifts unless you have ER experience. But I also would say, yeah, if you are kind of in my place where you're feeling a little bit I don't know if I'm ready to start practicing, I don't feel confident, I think doing an internship is a great next step. I think that the amount of information you'll learn is just at the speed of light. So I think it's never wrong to do one, but I will say it is really tough. If you thought your clinical year was tough, this is your clinical year on steroids. So it is something to notice, and you don't have to stay there if you're not happy, but you also don't want to just quit and leave them hanging. So
it's a big commitment. You should be
it's-
sure before
it is
you sign that contract.
It's a huge commitment.
Yep.
Advice, definitely, like I said earlier, do your research. Don't just, find a place online and you say, oh, well, that looks cool. I'm just, and then just believe what Match says. It's never accurate. So always interview with them. Always talk to current interns, and talk to multiple, because not every intern is going to have the same experience and same opinion about the internship. So talk to multiple. Really think about your location, where do you really see yourself living? That was a big thing for me. And I think looking back, in 5 years, I will probably be really happy that I did this. At this moment right now,
Glad
I'm
to be
almost
done.
feeling that way because I'm almost done.
Yeah.
But if you would have asked me 6 months ago,
Yeah.
I wanted to quit. It was just so hard for me. But I think looking back now, I'm really happy that I stuck it through. And the connections you make, you network so much, people know your name, and you can kind of do anything after this.
Well, I knew you could stick it out, and I knew you could make it through if you wanted to. I knew you were having some difficult times with it, but I had no doubt in my mind that you had the grit and tenacity to make it through and actually excel at it. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah. And thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming on and sharing your experience.
Yeah.
Overall, even though it does sound like you're tired and ready for the next stage of your career,
Mhm.
it also sounds like you had some really good mentors and made some really strong connections with colleagues, which is another very important, benefit to doing an internship. So
Yeah.
congratulations on almost
Congratulations.
finishing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Woo!
Well,
I
will
look
drink
forward
to
to
that.
seeing you in Encina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
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 Thanks for joining us for drinks and a conversation about veterinary medicine and our beloved animals. The Vets Unleashed podcast is wholly owned by the Vets Unleashed LLC with excellent production by Earweevil Audio. For more information about us, head over to thevetsunleashed.com. And as always, don't take advice from people who've been drinking.